What's poppin', people? It's Dante, currently going for my morning walk here in Fairmount Park, Philadelphia. Look at this beautiful tree. How old do you think it is? Anyways, so yeah, I was just thinking about this idea of learning the rules and then breaking the rules. So in the context of street photography, I actually believe it's important to learn the rules. Just learning the fundamentals of photography in general, understanding how to operate a camera manually, photographing with intention, learning rules of composition such as the rule of thirds, and understanding leading lines and form and shape, geometry, color, how to make a photograph that tells a story, working within the realm of layers with the foreground, the middle ground, the background, and the timing of a moment. There is something to be said about mastering the rules, mastering the art of making a photograph. And it is difficult, to be honest with you. I think it takes a lot of time to make photographs that are visually coherent as well as emotionally impactful. I think this is something very difficult to pull off. And because of that, it may be an important part of the process to learn first and foremost. I think of great artists like Picasso, who was able to make beautiful realistic paintings, but then decided to abstract reality. And this was his process. And I resonate with this because I've learned the traditional approach to photography very early on. I learned using film cameras, the Nikon FM, the Leica M3. I learned making landscape photos, walking through nature, making, basic photographs that are compositionally coherent. I then transitioned to working in the streets, making photographs candidly, and developed my eye through making photographs within the realm of the tradition of street photography and the typical rules that one would follow when making a photograph. And I then transitioned to shooting color on digital cameras like the Ricoh GR, the Fujifilm X Pro. And from there, I really honed in on the craft for 7 to 8 years. For pretty much 8 years, I really hammered, making photos with intention and really honing in on the skill of making a photograph, if I'm going to be honest with you. I really did treat that process of photographing for a breadth of time as a way for me to hone in on the craft, specifically making good photographs. And that was my initial goal. I've always gone out into the world in the attempt of making something strong. And I think that was a very beneficial part of my process that I embarked on. And it requires discipline. It requires discipline to photograph in this way. It requires you to go out there each and every day and to remain laser focused on one thing. And so the most practical suggestion for anyone who's looking to improve their technical, sort of traditional approach to photography, I would suggest highly to stick to one camera, one lens. Either choose color or choose black and white. Either choose to use a flash or don't use a flash, right? I think this is the path to greatness, because when you flip-flop back and forth and you're undecided with your approach, it pretty much just stunt your growth. That's my experience, and I'm just sharing that with you. Choose if you want to shoot film, choose if you want to shoot digital, get that out of the way. Personally, I'd recommend digital because it'll allow you to shoot more, receive faster feedback, and to continuously go out there each and every day without the cost involved and the time involved of working with film. But that's just another story. And so maybe in order to break the rules, one must have a foundation. One must have an understanding of how to make a photograph. And now that I understand how to make a photograph in various locations, I feel as though I can now tinker and go forward breaking the rules and creating my own game to play. And this is a really liberating thing because I'm no longer bound by the confined sort of tradition of making a good picture. But my goal now is to essentially tinker and experiment And while I believe this is a good thing to do early on, you know, maybe in the first year of photographing, if you're someone new to street photography, you should experiment, you should try color, you should try black and white, you should try different focal lengths and cameras and things. But I think after a year of experimentation, it's important to become disciplined, learn the tradition, learn the craft, learn the rules, and then after a few years, really, one should then break the rules and create their own game to play. And I think maybe it's important to recognize how much time is involved with photography. You know, it's not this like short-term pleasure-seeking, fast dopamine kind of experience, but it requires lots of time spent to see the results that you're looking for. And because of that, I highly suggest to approach photography in a very autotelic way, where you're simply making photographs to make photographs, enjoying the process along the way, detached from the outcome and the results. And this has allowed me ultimately to cultivate a body of work that is strong. I never really tied myself to the result of the photograph. I knew that it required time. I knew that it required discipline to make something strong. You know, I knew that I wasn't going to come home every single day with a good photograph, but I kept going out there. And so, yeah, once you learn the rules, then maybe you receive the permission to break them. I mean, do whatever you want. I'm just sharing my personal journey. Yeah, looking forward to breaking the rules, looking forward to experimenting, you know, and yeah, just enjoying the journey along the way, just sharing some random thoughts this morning. Yeah, maybe something in this video will benefit you. Yeah, just stay laser focused if you're looking to learn the rules. You know, that's the way forward.